Today, we are pulling back the curtain on artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about the one thing it absolutely cannot live without: us. Yeah, we're diving into the hidden human engine that powers these incredibly complex systems. Let's find out who's really behind the screen.
So, quick question for you. When you think of AI, what image pops into your head? Is it some kind of glowing digital brain, a friendly robot, or maybe just that app on your phone that uncannily knows what you want to buy next? Whatever it is, just hold that picture in your mind for a second.
You see, we often picture AI as this sleek, almost magical creative tool. It can generate amazing art, write poetry. It feels effortless. But the reality? The truth is, AI is, at its core, a human system. It's built, it's trained, and it's maintained by a massive global workforce. And that's the real story: the incredible gap between the slick final product and the enormous human effort behind it all.
Okay, so to really get that human cost, we first have to talk about how AI actually learns. And I'll tell you, it's not magic. It's much more like a giant superpowered sorting machine that's just gotten really, really good at spotting patterns.
Everything starts with something called a feature. Now, that's just a fancy word for a specific, recognizable detail in a piece of data. So, for example, if an AI is looking at a picture of an animal, it might pick out a feature like pointy ears. Simple enough, right?
So, once the AI sees a feature like pointy ears, it needs to know what that means. That's where a label comes in. The label is just the name that gets attached to a set of features. So a human comes along and tells the system, hey, when you see pointy ears like that, apply the label cat.
And this right here is the absolute core of the learning process. And get this, the first two steps are 100% human. People have to collect mountains of data. We're talking images, text, all of it. And then more people have to sit down and painstakingly label every single piece. It's only after all that human work is done that the AI can finally, in step 3, start doing its thing, which is just finding statistical patterns in all those labels we gave it.
So, who are all these people doing this labeling and categorizing? Well, they're what some call the ghost in the machine. They are the massive and often totally invisible human workforce that keeps the entire world of AI running.
And this quote, wow, it really gets to the heart of the matter. A huge part of this ghost work is content moderation. It's often outsourced to workers in less developed countries, who, for pretty low pay, have to sift through the absolute worst, most traumatizing content on the internet. They do this so that the rest of us don't have to. The psychological toll, as you can imagine, is immense.
So the main takeaway here is that AI reflects human choices at every single stage. You've got engineers designing the code, millions of people labeling the data, and then content moderators who are really on the front lines, bearing that psychological weight for all of us. And this whole system, this whole process, it's completely shaped by the unequal economic conditions that already exist in our world.
And here's the kicker. When a system is so fundamentally human, it doesn't just inherit our brilliance, it also inherits our flaws. This is the human fingerprint on the machine. Our biases, our blind spots, our societal inequalities, they all get baked right into the algorithm.
Let's make this real. We're going to look at a few examples. First up, an automated hiring tool, something designed to make screening resumes easier.
So, a few years back, Amazon built an AI to do just that. They trained it on 10 years of their own hiring data. The problem? That data was overwhelmingly from male applicants. So the AI taught itself that men were the better candidates. It literally started penalizing resumes that had the word women's in them, like captain of the women's chess club. It's a perfect, if unfortunate, example of how biased data leads directly to a biased system.
Now, let's take that same idea and apply it to something even more serious: predictive policing software used in the justice system.
You see, this software learns from historical arrest data. But, and this is crucial, arrest data is not the same as crime data. It just shows where police have been patrolling the most. So the system tells police to go back to those same areas, which, of course, leads to more arrests in those areas, which then feeds back into the system, creating this dangerous self-fulfilling prophecy that just reinforces the original bias over and over again.
And for our last scenario, let's look at something that happened in education: automated student grading. During the pandemic, with exams canceled, the UK decided to use an algorithm to assign final grades. And the result? A total firestorm. The algorithm used the historical performance of a student's school as a major factor. This meant it systematically lowered the grades of students from public state schools and actually boosted the scores for students from wealthy private schools. It wasn't judging the student, it was judging the student's zip code.
This question from one of our sources just stops you in your tracks. I mean, seriously, think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of one of those students. How hard would you work if you knew a computer had already decided you were probably going to fail? The psychological damage of that is just profound.
So look, these systems are here to stay, and they're essentially reflecting our world right back at us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So the big question is, what's our role now? How do we live with this reflection?
The way forward isn't to just throw the technology away, it's to build something called AI literacy. And that just means we all need to get a better handle on how these systems are made, understand their limitations, and where they can go wrong, and most importantly, learn how to use them and question them critically.
And these principles here give us a fantastic roadmap. First, we need transparency. We have to know how these things work. We have to demand fairness so they're used in ways that are respectful. We need accountability. A human has to be responsible for the final call, not a machine. And of course, we have to make sure our privacy and our data are kept safe.
In the end, it really helps to think of AI as a powerful mirror. It doesn't invent new biases from scratch. It finds, it magnifies, and it reflects the patterns that are already there in our society, in our history, in our data. So the final question isn't really about the AI at all. It's about us. What does that mirror show us about ourselves? And what are we going to do about what we see?